Good morning and welcome back to our channel. Today's topic is Vagrant. Vagrant is a tool through which you can automate your VM's life cycle from creating the VM to removing the VM. All the tasks which we do manually, we can automate it through Vagrant tool. In short, Vagrant is a tool which can automate all the things or all the tasks of our VM life cycle. Okay, so first of all, we need to see or look at the problems which we were facing in our manual VM setup. First is OS installation. We need to install OS by ourselves in manual VM. This all task or the installation task would be time taking, time consuming, and the whole setup was manual. We need to go click by click and we need to finish click and click. That whole task was manual, plus it was very time taking for us. And if we want to replicate our VM, we need to prepare the whole documentation before doing it. So it was also tough and a very time taking task. Let's see Vagrant for VMs. No OS installation is needed. VM setup through images or Vagrant boxes. Vagrant boxes are a virtual machine or a ready-made virtual machine on Vagrant Cloud, which will get downloaded and Vagrant will do it for us and bring up the VM. Images and boxes are easily available on the Vagrant Cloud site. We can also manage the VM or the configure. We can manage the configuration file of the VM through Vagrant file. We can automate the changes of VM, like we need to change CPU, we need to have some RAM, or we need to change the settings of CPU or RAM. We can do it automatically through a Vagrant file. We have Vagrant command for the VM management. We have commands like Vagrant up, Vagrant SSH, Vagrant halt, Vagrant destroy. So up means it will bring up the VM. Then SSH for login and destroy for removing the VM. We can provision the VM through Vagrant file. Provisioning means after the VM is up, we need to execute some commands or some script. So we need to give the script in the provisioning part of the Vagrant file and many more things. Okay, so this is the Vagrant architecture. First of all, in this, we need to have a Vagrant file which we will download. The Vagrant file will contain our VM's info, image name, memory and CPU, many more things, many configurations. And then after setting up our Vagrant file, we will give the command Vagrant up. So Vagrant up command will set up our virtual machine. First of all, it will find the image in our local system. If it will not get the image in our local system, then it will go to the Vagrant cloud and it will download the image and then it will go to the hypervisor. So hypervisor in our case is Oracle VirtualBox. You can have workstation VMware, any VirtualBox if you want, or hypervisor you want. For in our case, we are using Oracle VirtualBox, which is a default one, and then it will set the command that to create the VMs. We can even create more than one VMs here. So, lastly, after downloading the image, the Vagrant file will contact to the hypervisor. Hypervisor will set up all the VMs for us. We can create many VMs, many VMs we want. And after creation of VMs, we can log in it with SSH, Vagrant SSH command, and we can also remove the VM with the destroy, and we can also power up the VM with Vagrant halt command. So this is the architecture, this is the flow, how the Vagrant tool and VirtualBox together works. Next is Vagrant setup. What are tools or services you need to install before you start using Vagrant? First of all, you need to enable virtual technology in your basic input output system in your local machine. Then you need to install the Vagrant tool. Then you need to install hypervisor like Oracle, VirtualBox, or Workstation VMware you want. First of all, there's a tip from my side, which is please check the compatibility of Vagrant tool and your VirtualBox. If they are not compatible, they will not work together. So check the version of your Vagrant tool and version of your VirtualBox. If they are compatible, then you will install both of them. Otherwise, it will not work for you. Then next, it is CLI, through which we will give commands for Vagrant. I will use git bash. You can use any command line interface you want, but don't use command prompt. It is very slow. So rather than you can use git bash like me. Okay, so after seeing that how to set up a Vagrant tool with a virtual box, now we will see how to set up a VM. Just an overview that how to set up a VM with Vagrant. Later on, we'll have a practical on that, so don't worry. This is just an overview. So first of all, we will download or initialize our box image from this site, which is of Vagrant only. We'll download the image from here. We'll have our own directory. So the image we will download in the directory which we'll make. We'll have a project directory of our own at any location you want. Then we'll get a Vagrant file in the directory which we have made, and then we will give the commands like Vagrant up. You know that Vagrant up is for powering, setuping the Vagrant VM. Then SSH is for login. Then halt is for powering off the VM, and destroy is to remove the VM. So that's the whole introduction, that what is Vagrant, how to set up it, how to set up a VM through Vagrant, what is the architecture, and now we'll have a practical VM setup through Vagrant. So let's start. Okay, so before starting up or setting up the VM with me, please make sure that you have Git Bash installed, then Vagrant tool and the hypervisor, which is our Oracle VirtualBox. So make sure that you have installed it properly with full compatibility. So let's start. First of all, we'll go to E drive. I'm going to make my project directory in E drive. You can use any drive you want. See, I have C, D, and E, but I'll go with E. You can use any directory you want. If you don't want to use D and E, you can also go with C. But I'll tell you that prefer D and E rather than C drive. Now we'll create a directory. VIR Vagrant VMs. I will go to the directory. Okay. Then we'll create two more directories here, which is CentOS 7, because we want a one virtual machine for CentOS and another one of Ubuntu. So we'll make two directories. Okay, so we'll create another directory of Ubuntu 18. Let's list it. Okay. Let's go to the CentOS one. Okay. So here, first of all, we'll initialize. We'll give the initialize command. Okay, now we'll go to search our Vagrant box. Search our Vagrant box. Okay. CentOS 7. There are many virtual boxes we got. Different generic, Scale Factory, CentOS, Lava Bit, Girlinga Guy. There are many boxes here. We'll go with Girlinga guy. Okay. So let's copy the image name and give to the Vagrant command. Now let's wait till okay. So we got our Vagrant file. Let's check. Okay. Let's get it. Get the commands. Okay. So here is a Vagrant file. This is a Ruby script. Okay, wait. Let's go and check with our Windows. Click and open it with Notepad++. Okay. So this is our Vagrant file. This is the configure part. It starts with line number 8 and ends at line number 70. Everything is commented here. Only the VM box name configuration is CentOS 1 is there. So this is our image name or box name, which is here, right? So this is our Vagrant file. Okay. So now let's create the CentOS VM. The command Vagrant up, and after some time the VM will be created. Let's wait. So now okay. Now if you get any error here, which is provider not found, means the virtual box and the version of your virtual box and the version of your Vagrant tool is not compatible. Check the compatibility and then again create the VM, set up the VM. Then another error is if you get this error, initialize security context or VBox hardening, then disable your antivirus. And last error is SSH certificate error or SSL certificate error. If you get a certification error, then run this command. Give your image name here and run a Vagrant box add insecure. It will add your box and then give the command which is Vagrant up. Your VM will be created. Now okay, so let's see our VM is created here. First time it will take some time because it adds your box and all. After some time or for the second time, if you create the VM, it will fastly create it because the box is already added or downloaded before. For me, it was already added before, so it took very less time for me. Now let's log in into SSH. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so let's check who am I. Okay, the Vagrant user, right? Now let's check the path. Okay, we are at home, Vagrant. Now let's exit. Okay, so we are logged off, and here we are in our CentOS directory. Now, if we want to power off our VM for some time, we can give the command. We have to first of all exit. We have to log out from our Vagrant VM, and then we have to come to our directory, and then we need to run the command which is Vagrant halt, which will power off your command for your VM as per your need, right? So let's see our VM is now it's running, and after some time it will be powered off. Okay, so the VM is powered off. Okay, so now let's install or create next VM, which is Ubuntu. ls Ubuntu part, give again ls. Okay, so now we will give the command. Will it our Vagrant file. We'll go to Google. We'll search for Ubuntu 18. We want so I'm sorry. Okay, There are many boxes of Ubuntu 18. We have generic 1810 raw boxes, grilling guy. But we want the official one, right? So let's search for it. We'll get after some time. Okay, let's search only Ubuntu. Okay. So we want official, but we want the 18th version, right? So okay. So here it is. We got our image name. We'll copy the name. You can copy also the whole command, but I have written halfly, so I'm not doing it. We'll give enter. So now let's wait for our okay. The Vagrant file is downloaded. Got our Vagrant file. Let's get it. It's same. It's a Ruby script, and only the difference between CentOS and Ubuntu is the image box or the name of the image. The configurations are same. Then let's go to Windows and check our Vagrant file with Notepad++. And go to it and okay. See, we have the same. Only the differences are image name. This is the Ubuntu one, and that was the CentOS one, right? So now let's create this VM also. We'll go with Vagrant up command. Okay, now let's see. Okay, VM VM is created here. Now let's wait for it to get powered on. It's importing the base box. It will take some time, not always. Yes, it's running. Our VM is powered on. Okay, so our VM is created here. Now let's log into it. SH. Okay, so we are in the Ubuntu machine. It gives new releases and all. Now let's check who am I here also. Okay, we are the Vagrant user and where we are, which is home. We are at the home location. Okay, now let's log out. Okay, so now let's power up the machine with command Vagrant halt. Okay, now let's check. Now still it shows running. Okay, so our VM is powered off. Okay, so let's destroy our VM or let's remove our VM. So we'll give the command Vagrant destroy. We need to destroy the Ubuntu. So we need to go to the Ubuntu project directory, and we have to give the command here, which is Vagrant destroy. It will ask a question. Are you sure? Yes, we are sure. Okay. Now the Ubuntu VM, yes, it has gone from here. So same way clear the screen first. Let's go to the CentOS one and delete it. This cd cent, and now give the command which is vagrant destroy to destroy the VM. It is a very fast and automated process. It is a very simple way to create a VM, or a very easy way. Okay. So both the VMs are gone. So this both VMs are from my D drive. I have created a directory there and created two VMs for practice. And here I have created in E drive. So both the VMs are gone. Let's do ls. Okay, now let's clear the screen and go to the history. Oh, I'm sorry. Now let's check once what we did. Okay, so we created two directory. First of all, we created a Vagrant directory, and that directory we created two more directories, which is one CentOS and one Ubuntu. Then we went to the CentOS directory and we initialized our Vagrant file with our image name. Then we viewed the Vagrant file. Then we created it. Then we logged in to the CentOS VM. Then we powered it off, and then we went to the Ubuntu VM, Ubuntu directory. First of all, we got our Vagrant file from our box name. Then we viewed our Ubuntu Vagrant file. Then we created the Ubuntu VM. Then we logged into it. Then we powered off the VM, and then we destroyed the VM. Similarly, we destroyed our CentOS VM, and that's all for the Vagrant. We can create, delete, remove, power off, on through Vagrant command like this. So that's all. Thank you.